Welcome to Spiritual Rebirth Tarot Earth Signs. It's so nice to have you here for this reading of the first week in September. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So welcome. Glad to have you here. And so we will start with asking for divine guidance and protection at this time. Okay, so I would like to start with these new cards that I got, this tarot deck. It's called Guardian of the Night, and it's really a great deck. MJ Cullinane, I just absolutely love all of the animals. I love animals. I love animal cards, and so to have it in the tarot, it's just so cool. So I'll be sure and put it down as listed as one of my tarot decks, and so hopefully I'll be able to find a purchasing method, because it's brand new. I just got it in the mail. She was going to send it out when she had it finished, so this is really cool to get to have this and to be able to find new special messages from it. So we'd like to start by placing some Reiki energy. Okay, so what the intention today, the first card will be the path that we will be taking of Earth signs. And the second will be the obstacles that we'll be facing. So the first card is the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups for the path, and the Five of Cups for the obstacle. Okay, so the underneath energy is the Knight of Cups. So we have 3 cups. So it's a very watery week. So if you're watching this before the 31st is when we have the big full moon. And we also have Halloween and, Samhain, which is the pagan holiday, and Day of the Dead is coming up, and all of these moon energies. You can see the big moon here. And then, of course, during this next week, we'll still be living with a lot of that full moon energy. And even though it's in Taurus, I won't have as much grounding energy as usual because it's so far away. And so it's good to ground yourself, but also to be careful with your money and how you spend your money. And maybe especially this whole watery thing is an illustration of, don't let it wash away on you. So be careful of what you're spending your money on this week. So the King of Cups is this beautiful golden cup. It's one of the most beautiful cards in the deck. Having the swan. The swan is alone in this picture, and they're always a couple because they are a couple that stays together for life and monogamous birds. And so when we're looking, they're far more monogamous than any of us anymore, right? None of us seem to have the gene. No, I don't know. Anyway, so here they are. Here he is by himself, and so you wonder why he's by himself. What's the energies for this week? This kind of bringing on this being alone. I mean, he has a beautiful sun, he has a beautiful moon, he has these gorgeous energies flowing with him, and yet he's alone. So some of you earth people may feel like you really have a lot of your ducks in a row. You kind of have things going where you want them to go, but you really don't have the connection that you'd like to. And I can't even imagine that not being the case right now. with the numbers going up in most of the country with the coronavirus. A lot of people are struggling, not knowing what to do, how to relate. I even avoided some large family gatherings this weekend, just because that's where most of the infections are happening right now. And I'd hate to be the vector or my children be the vector or vice versa. So it's kind of, we're kind of trying to keep things a little low key and yet still provide for our children in the, the way they need to be provided for. So let me put this here so you can kind of know that card is there. Okay, so I think that's kind of, to me, the energies that are coming out of that. This Queen of Cups, for the, it's interesting, the air signs, the path was the Queen of Swords, and they are, an air sign, which is swords. But still, this is the Queen, so you as well have a week as the Queen being a big part of your path. So very strong, energetic, smooth flowing, has a lot of grown up kind of energy. Now there's also a crab here, which makes you think of the Cancer energy, and other types of shells. There's a bunch of fish, and a cup is silver. Beautiful orca. And the orca really, to me, it points to a very successful species. They are intelligent, they're gifted, and they are successful in the wild and in captivity. And the experience that I've had a lot of experiences with them, because I grew up in Washington State, up around the world of the orcas, in the Puget Sound and whatnot. But in all of that, I also think of the orcas that I have met at SeaWorld in California, and we had the opportunity of having dinner with the orca. And so we were actually having dinner, and they were talking about the orcas, and the orcas were, at one point he actually came up onto a ledge and looked at us, and he was probably 2 feet away, and it was glass in between, but it was probably 2 or 3 feet, and there was the orca, and the immensity and the amazement and the beauty of that. And so this week, for some of you, if it resonates with you, for some of you, the magnificence and the beauty of nature will come into perspective for you in a greater way than usual. Also, connecting with your ancestors. And when you think of the ancestors, some of the ancestors, or probably, I think that some of the shaman who have moved on past their physical bodies, I could see them coming back as orcas and having a heck of a lot of fun playing and just enjoying life as an orca and seeing what kind of fun and havoc that they can cause. And so I think that this week, bringing a real connection to your ancestors will be very important. And that's a lot more evident in the world of the Eastern cultures than the Western cultures. The Western cultures, we kind of just do me, myself, and I. Well, the Eastern cultures, it's much more communal, but also, you're really contemplating your ancestors, things of the future. And when we think of the orcas, we think of the West and the Pacific Ocean, and yet that's connected to the East and China. And so it's both the east and the west because it's all one big globe. And so I think the energies of the obstacles that you'll be facing are not being able to see the whole picture, kind of looking at things a little off. So in this picture, we have some broken cups. It has a couple of the cups that are there have fireflies in them. And one of the biggest things that I always think about with a firefly is that during the night, there's this beautiful, I mean, if you've ever been in a part of the world where the fireflies are, which you should, just for a night. I mean, it's just amazing watching them float through the sky. And yet, if you catch them, they're just a beetle. And so, you know, things are not as they appear. They're this beautiful creature that's just a beetle. And the same with the moth. The moth starts out as a caterpillar. It goes through the process, but it doesn't come out as a butterfly. It comes out as a moth. It's just a moth. Plus, the moth tend to go after the light. And I was noticing this the light of the beetles here. So I wonder if a moth likes to go toward a firefly. That'd be kind of interesting because moths can be really annoying. At night, you're on your cell phone, you're in your house, and unfortunately you have your window open. In comes a moth and starts banging on the glass of your cell phone, you know, because it's the only light in the room. So they're wonderful creatures, but at the same time, they really aren't a butterfly. So I think some of the obstacles this week is things just won't be what they're supposed to be. You know, whether it's the job that you've had this week, things will just kind of go off. Or the relationship just seems a little funky. But I don't think it's going to last. And I think they instead focus toward the energies of the Queen of Cups, rather than just the Five of Cups. So let's pull some tarot to get more understanding of the energies of the Queen of Cups. I just still keep thinking, because it's kind of cool. We had the Three Cups, and we have the sequence of, you know, the Five-Knight Queen, you know, Five-Knight Queen, stepping up of the cups. So there's going to be lessons about your emotions, your feelings, and those kind of energies this week. All right, so Earth signs. Okay, the Three of Swords. The Four of Wands. If this can't be the two more opposite cards, I don't know what they are. It's like the black and white. Three of Swords, Four of Wands, and underneath is the Wheel. So it's like right now your life is split, but the energies are that they're going to be coming together, and that these broken pieces will fit back together. Remember, in the Japanese culture, if you have a broken piece of pottery, you can put it together with gold, and it becomes a more beautiful bowl than it was before, because it has veins of gold in it. And it's like this week, the things that are broken and the things that are whole, you know, things, they'll be fixed, they'll be brought together, and the change that will happen during the week is that the things that are so different in your life will be brought together, and you'll be able to see them more clearly as this beautiful whole. You know, it's kind of interesting because I started out with that feeling that you'll feel alone. So it might be for some of you that there will be a breakup, or that will be a loss of a loved one. And in those times, and if it does resonate with you, you know, please comment and subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications so you can get more of these videos. And comment if there's anything in your life this week. Earth sign. If there's any for you this week, that some things that have been broken are brought back together, and they're more beautiful now than they were before. And so I want to pull a couple of energies related to the Wheel of Fortune, just to understand that a little more. This is some tarot for the Wheel of Fortune. The Artiste, which is only in this deck, the Ethereal Mind, I think it is. The Artiste, the Moon, oh, and the Three of Swords again, and Temperance. So the Artiste is it's kind of like either a muse or they are your muse. So somebody in your life who has really been helping you with your expression, being that person who kind of motivates you to go to the next level. I feel like you're going to lose them. And it's going to take you a little bit to get your mojo back. And you won't understand why. You won't understand why this break is occurring, why it's having to happen. It could be that they need to progress in their life to something new and can no longer be for you what they've been, and that you'll be getting something else that's even better. It could be that you are growing and progressing in just a different direction, and you need to move in that direction. And so this heartbreak is going to be really hard for you, but it will lead. And I think your angels will lead and guide you. You know, if you ask for the angels' help and guidance in this time. So let's take a look at the Five of Cups, the obstacle. The King of Pentacles. So that's one of yours. The Ace of Pentacles. And the Six of Cups. Ace of Cups. Oh, interesting. So these things that are going to look like your obstacles this week are things that look off, that don't look quite right. It's like the things that have been really important to you over here, you know, are dying. And yet over on the obstacle side, you have, you know, abundance, new opportunities, happiness in the family, and new love coming in. So it's like the whole week is going to be tipsy-turvy. The things that you think are obstacles are actually the things that make your life better. And the things that you think are just those mundane, regular things in your life are going to fall apart. So it's going to be a very interesting week. So I want to take a, pull a card, I think, for the energies of the aces. Because there's both the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. So a lot of newness, and the Wheel of Fortune. So, you know, divine timing, bringing on new opportunities. But they're just not going to look right. You might miss them if you're not careful. Queen of Cups. That's what we have, Queen of Cups. You're going to have an opportunity that you don't recognize that's going to lead you into a more mature understanding of your emotional life. And possible romance. Well, you know, I think that for each person, this will have a slightly different meaning. And, you know, because it is a general reading for 3 signs. And so, you know, like I said, you know, comment below. Also, if you have questions that are more directed toward you, feel free to book a private reading. The link is below for that. And then also, things may be understood a little better in the extended, where we'll go into each of your signs in the archetype type cards. So as we look at those cards, we might get a little clearer picture of what is coming for each one of you this week. And so what I'd like to do is end with my special thought of the week. And by visualization, by visualizing my desired outcome, the perfect action is always inspired. Okay, so you think of a caterpillar. The caterpillar is going along and it's eating leaves. And then it becomes a cocoon. And then out of it comes either a butterfly or a moth. So it's kind of that by visualizing your desired outcome, you know, that you want to be this beautiful butterfly that goes around eating flowers and that everybody loves and they think you're so beautiful. And you want to become this beautiful butterfly. And so visualizing that so that these actions will happen in your life that will lead to that result. And so instead, you know, instead of ending up with the moth, and I don't want to put the moth negative light. I mean, moths aren't bad. Everything is good in nature. But, you know, it's kind of like, do you want to be a moth? Then visualize the moth. Do you want to be a firefly? Then, you know, visualize the firefly. You may look like a beetle, but you can shine like, you know, a star. As your desire to feel good leads you to thoughts that feel good, the perfect action will be inspired from that alignment. And that inspired action is always joy. Always joyful. So, just whenever you're having a hard time this week, just remember how much fun the orca had. Okay, so if you want to come over to the extended, the link is below. Otherwise, I'll see you next week, and I'll see you for some of the other type readings. Like we have a live reading for the full moon. If you're watching this before the full moon, or you can always watch the rerun of that. And then also, you know, we usually have the relationship readings around Wednesday, and then the astrology Friday, which we always try to come up with something interesting that's coming about in astrology the next week. Okay, I will see you in the extended. The link is below.